Now, if I asked you to think of an image of poverty, I wonder what will come to your mind. You probably would have imaged something like this: a woman sitting by the side of the streets with her child and begging out of desperation. But why is this the case? Because often these women are rural women and they live in areas where there's no roads, no electricity, no sanitation, no water. And they are the bottom pyramid of the society. And they are the ones that are made to go walk, collect water, bring it back, cook and clean for the kids, and many of them even have to farm to bring subsistence living. So when opportunities do come to the village, like education, these women are forgotten, they are invisible, and they get left behind. And this phenomena is called the feminization of poverty. And when I first heard about it, I was shocked to the core of my being, and I wanted to learn how I can do something about it. The second question I'm going to ask you to imagine is, do you think you are contributing in any way to perpetuate poverty? Well, when you walk into a store and you see something on sale, do you ask yourself, I wonder who made this, or how was I able to get it on a deal? Well, think about it. Most of it's done in a factory. So when you are not a conscious consumer, you are actually perpetuating poverty. And I wanted to tell you the story of one of them. Her name is Ibu Dini Yusof, and she started a social enterprise called Toraja Melo, which is based in Indonesia, and she works with the weavers up in the ruralist mountains in Sulawesi called Toraja. Beautiful place, but it's very difficult to access anything up there. And she works with them to bring them to global markets, to get them trained on the quality and also what the market needs. She goes up to this beautiful mountains in Toraja, which is her husband's village, and she sits there and she begins to see all the things happening around her. She was shocked that families were forced to send their young girls overseas to work as migrant workers. And believe it or not, some worked as sex workers because they needed the income to be able to survive. This was a community that used to make their money from weaving. But weaving was no longer respected. So even in the community, they never wore weaving anymore. So Dini would see these young girls come back with unwanted pregnancies, many abused, many sexually molested. And she wanted so much to save those girls from having to go overseas. But she knew to do that, she needed to try to make weaving a way for them to make their income again. But to do that, she had to restore pride in weaving. So what she did was she began to take part in fashion shows, bringing their things in very contemporary clothing. She worked with the urban poor women to make head-to-toe, very innovative products that she brought to market. She would find out what kind of threads and colors people like, bring it back to the weavers, and then bring the goods to the market. So President Obama's sister, who is Indonesian, actually ordered clothing from her. So before you know it, they began to wear their weaving again. And when they wore the weaving, the women could weave and they could make an income. So Dini has actually gone on to save the lives of these girls. Many more young girls today are staying and learning how to weave because it's actually now prestigious. So I'm just going to end with giving you a thought. It is time to see women as the solution. It's very important to have some data in your mind. Stop seeing women as invisible. Stop seeing women as the one who only carries the water. See women as key to poverty reduction. The World Bank has shown that as statistics. The UNDP has shown that money in the hands of the women can do a lot more good for nutrition, health, and education of the child and the family than the same amount in the hands of a man. So when you take a woman out of poverty, you take the family and the community out of poverty. So that's very inspiring. Do not accept the fact that poverty is a way of life. Become a conscious consumer. Just don't walk in there and buy anything. Ask yourself who made it, how was it made, what was the supply chain like. When you do that, you impact lives. Try and support these amazing women entrepreneurs. Buy from them, invest in them, and together we can actually make a difference.